Hello. We're here with another episode. Elephants in the Practice Room, Jaleen and Sarah. All right. So
Hey, girl,
today,
hey.
today we are talking about, what are we talking about, Jaleen?
I think we're just going to have a conversation about going into the busy season and like tips that we use to stay grounded. And I'm sure you've got some wellness ideas that you can yell at me about that I don't do. But I think for a lot of musicians going into December, something that we don't really have conversations about in college and right out of college is the month of December and how that makes up a significant portion of our income as musicians just for the entire year. Like, this is a big bulk. It's a busy time working every day. And some things I had thought about was like, I wish I had thought ahead when I was younger about, well, I guess I just didn't know. You just didn't know what December was going to be as a classical musician, for sure. Yeah.
So
And I have
did
some
you?
ideas that I've developed over the past years to help
Yeah,
me and my family and my situation.
perfect. Perfect. Before we jump into those, I'm wondering, did you, like when you were in college, were you encouraged to take gigs and to be kind of living the crazy December life? Or were you, was your school very much like, no, stay focused in your studies and don't take
No,
gigs?
no, I think the schools that I went to, so I went to Berklee College of Music and New England Conservatory. That's just right in the middle of Boston. And yeah, I would say that we were really encouraged. I mean, I think there's a lot of networking that goes on. I think a lot of at least churches in the city and orchestras and community orchestras, when they can't find working professionals, they go straight to the conservatories and the music schools. And it's like, hey, we have this cantata. Do you have any oboe players? And I think my schools did a pretty good job of connecting us to those gigs. Yeah, I always felt like I was so busy. I think even before college, like in high school, I was kind of pegged to do a lot of accompanying for piano things and church things, choirs.
Mhm.
And you did probably as well, right? As a harpist, you get a lot of work with choirs, especially during this
Yes.
this time. Did you do that before college or I didn't have anybody
Yes.
discourage me. How about that? I didn't have anybody discourage me and I didn't have anybody say, "Hey, just because the gig is there doesn't mean you have to do it for free." Like, and I think that's another whole podcast
Oh yeah. Yeah,
conversation,
yeah,
but
for sure.
I think even in college, it was encouraging, just take the gigs, take the gigs. There was never like a money talk, like take the gigs, but if you take this one for free and another one comes up that's paying, like what do you do?
Hmm.
So
Right.
anyway, all right. So
Yeah,
choirs and
another
harp.
topic.
Did you work in high school in December?
Yes, I remember I started working actually when I was 11. I remember this distinct. Well, I mean, I did stuff with my studio earlier
Your
from age. Yeah.
teacher studio?
Yeah, like she did stuff for December in the December season from the first start year I started playing. So like 8 years old, that was always a busy time. Like she always did her harp ensemble stuff like in December. I mean,
That's a lot.
it's like, yeah. Can you imagine like your kid like doing all this harp ensemble and all these performances? Like it's beautiful, it's very cool, but it's like, really? Like this is one more thing during this time of year.
Yeah. Well, Gabriel has a violin recital in the middle of
Right.
December. Yeah, but they do
Yeah,
that
there's a
twice a year,
lot.
and we knew that at the beginning of the year going in.
Right, right. And it's a good, like, it's the end of the semester culmination. But I think I started playing like intensely when I was 11 years old. And I think doing that kind of rooted some resentment toward the holidays in me. And I
This is
think,
We might end
yeah,
up
I
switching
think it's
lanes because this is a really good
right.
conversation for sure.
I think that it really took me a long time to be at peace with the holidays again. And honestly, I don't think that I was there fully until like last year. Like
Yeah,
it's taken me
you were
a
super
really long
mindful last
time.
year.
Yeah. And it's taken me a really long time to find that balance of how to make it through the holiday season without feeling like there's this cloud, like there's this tension and just anxiety about it and like it's not fun, you know?
Talk a little bit about about that. So are you feeling an anxiety like coming from your family, as in you can't participate in the family things, or like you feel the anxiety to say yes to all of these gigs because it's such a performing month. There's so much happening, and like if you say no, you won't, get called back, that kind of thing. But what's the anxiety coming from? Just like the need to be busy?
I think it's all of it, what you said. I think it's like this thing that's ingrained in you since age, for me, 11, to take all the gigs and be playing right up until Christmas Day and even after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially, I know all instrumentalists are busy, but like harpists especially, like people associate harp with Christmas, especially churches. And you do get a lot of calls. And yes, the pressure to say yes to the gigs, but then the pressure to, do your best. Plus then, you've got the family, all the extra family stuff built in. And, when you're in school, like it's the time that you're doing your finals. It's the culmination of the semester. There's tons of recitals that
There's
maybe you're
holiday
playing.
concerts at school
Yeah,
as well. The
right.
school,
Exactly.
and there's always exams because it's the end of the
Yeah.
marking period. So
Yeah,
it's a
there's
lot.
just
That's true.
it's so much. Plus, you're coming off, it's the end of the semester if you're in school. So it's like you've already been going hard for like 4 or 5 months. And now you're expected to like pile it all on at the very end. Right.
And be
And
awesome.
yeah, you're expected to just be like this, show up and do the
Yay,
job.
it's
Right.
Christmas. And we're like,
Yeah. Be jolly.
hey, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we're barely hanging on here and you're often surviving on like, snacks and eating dinner in your car on the way and eating at weird times and like staying up all night and then getting up the next day to teach or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hard time of year. Plus, the weather's changing.
It
Finally, it's
was,
changing
I
here
didn't
in
want to
Texas.
interrupt you, but
Yeah.
that's another big oboe thing.
Right.
Um, we have all these expectations from a performance standpoint for December, but starting like mid-November here in Austin, at least, the weather is it can't make up its mind. It's either like 95 and humid, or 50 degrees and dry. And from an oboe standpoint, it's very challenging, especially when we have all these big important gigs. And I say important not just a performance standpoint, but like financially lucrative gigs that you need to do a good job at, and your reads are like, well, this read felt great yesterday, and then today it's not vibrating at all and it's shut down. And so like there's this extra component, from a double read standpoint on top of that. But that's stressful, and I have oboe tips for those things too, because that's literally, I'll show you my desk. And all I've been doing so far the past couple of days is just front loading like reads just to get through December.
So
Yeah,
let's just get into it right now. Like, tell us about what are you doing? Okay, so I like this concept of front loading. What do you mean by that?
just from an oboe read standpoint, like I just started, well, here's my box. I started doing our December reads. You can't even tell, but they're all sparkly. So I
Yeah.
start the past couple days have just been locked at my desk, just wrapping reads and not finishing them. So reads are made in like lots of different stages, but essentially these reads are all wrapped, but they're not even clipped open, so they're not scraped on. And so I will finish them as the weather settles and as my students or I need them. And I can finish them in a couple days. And then they'll be ready for that moment and that weather situation, versus if I just made all of the reads start to finish now, in 2 weeks, things are going to be way different, like temperature wise, and it's kind of going to be all at a loss. So I kind of have to prepare myself, getting groceries ahead of time, and then kind of cooking as each day demands. Kind of an
Mm-hmm.
analogy. Is that a dumb analogy? No, I think that works.
No, no.
Um,
You have your
so
materials ready to
y-
go.
yeah, materials ready to go, and then to finish as I needed. So I have reads all in like different stages. So I've got like
Hmm.
the cane is all shaped, and I've got my holiday thread. I've got these pretty holiday threads. I know you don't care, but you're gonna care. Okay. So I found this really pretty one. It's like super sparkly. Where's my camera?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I've
yeah.
got like, this is It's called Maccabee's Pride, and it's for
Mm,
Hanukkah situation. And then I've got like just a red and white, and we call that the candy cane thread. My middle schoolers like it.
perfect. It feels, those colors feel very regal.
Regal. Okay. Um, I just want them to get through December. But the students like, and they kind of expect, something a little special for December.
Hmm.
So yeah, I try to, from a read standpoint, that's a big stress for me, especially,
Hmm.
professionally with my performances coming up. And I've got some other things, after December as well that I'm preparing for. And I just have to work on the music. And I had a teacher say, um, like, you only need one read to win an audition, essentially, yes. But in grad school, we were regularly told to play something, probably like Strauss concerto or something, on our worst read. Because if you can get through a gig, because conductors don't care if your read is good or bad or whatever, they just want it to sound awesome. And you have to find a way to make it work on pretty much whatever you have in your read case. And I think
Right.
that was a very useful tip, is just as a professional, learn how to play on lots of different reads and lots of different circumstances, because every day is different right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And you'll keep encountering those different weather conditions. I mean, I think sometimes,
Austin's bad
especially,
for that. Yeah.
yeah, this time of year especially, I think. Like I
Hmm.
remember last year was really quite nice. Like we
I
finally cooled
know.
down in
Yeah, but
December.
then it stayed cool. Like there
Yeah,
was no
it
like up and down. That was such a good season
right.
for rates.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like I remember it was like 50, 60, something like that. You know,
Yeah.
it was like the perfect like weather to just like go outside and have like a light sweater, or not
Hmm.
light sweater, but like some kind of a sweatshirt or something, but no like heavy coat or anything.
Yeah.
Um, as
But
long as
like,
this temperature is consistent, it's better.
right, it's about consistency. And like up north, where I'm from, where you're from and I'm from, and we have four distinct seasons. And once it gets cold, for the most part, it kind of stays cold, and then you've got spring. But here in Austin, we have two real seasons, but the transition is up and then it's down, and it's
Hmm.
so extreme.
So
Um,
extreme,
but I think it's made me even a better read maker, because I have
right?
to make more reads regularly instead of just, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really fair point.
So
Good.
adversity,
Pushed you a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, pushed you a little bit. Good, good. So you kind of said, you're front loading, but I think that kind of transitions into one thing. We each made lists of like things that, well, Jalene's
Yes.
list is in her head. Okay.
Well, no, I have
Which is
lists.
good.
I have
Okay.
I have
Right.
lists. Yeah.
Well, that's good. But of things that are helping us like kind of deal with the season and like just get through it,
Yeah.
like not just survive
Lists.
it, but
Lists help us
actually
get
like
through the season.
be happy. Yeah, list itself, right. But like I think you said, front loading. So that kind of dovetails with I wrote down be realistic about your time.
Yeah.
Like what time you have, what time you don't have, and like what you're doing with the time itself. So do you have anything else to contribute about that?
Yeah, I think so. So for my work, and it's similar but also, different than yours. I have my professional life kind of blocked into three categories. So I've got my performance side, which includes, auditions, performances, stuff with you. And then I have like my teaching like pot of
Mm-hmm.
all the things I need to do for teaching, which does not include reads, like music and assigning solos and, doing my studio lesson counts and
Hmm.
things. And then I have a separate pot for reads. And like I said, I'm always trying to be ahead on my reads and front load, but they're all in different stages. So I have it like today I'm just gonna be wrapping a bunch of reads, and then, on Thursday I'll, scrape on those. But I think, and as I was doing it, it's called like a brain dump. You've heard that
Yeah,
before?
sure.
Yeah. So like I was doing like my brain dump thing this morning, and I'm thinking about all of my little things to check
So
off.
she's
And I feel,
holding up her, just for people who
yeah,
are
sorry.
listening
Yeah,
only,
right, right.
she's
Yes, I'm
holding up
hold
a notebook and she's got it all divided out in her three categories, just all the
right.
things she needs to get done. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, because at nighttime my head just swirls with a million, all these to-do list things. And that's not even including like family stuff, mom
Right.
stuff,
Right. So
personal
it's a whole
care
other
stuff. This is
category.
just the professional pot.
Yep.
But I under each category, I would say like I start off with all my performance stuff. So I list all my gigs and I kind of put them in chronological order. So I have like, you know, I know when things are coming. And then I kind of star the ones that are high priority. Like I have an audition coming up in January that is really important to me. And so that's like at the top of my list. And
So wait, you're doing all of your gigs in December, plus you're taking an audition in January.
gigs in January too. Yeah, we have to pay our
And gigs,
bills.
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a
Um,
lot. That's a lot.
it is a lot, but when you put it down and kind of just break it into chunks, it's so much more manageable, right? It's like when we're learning hard music, you're not just going to jump in and like bulldoze through all of it. You're going to say, what are the hot spots? And then you star those. And then that's what
Yeah.
you start every practice on those little hot spots. If you only have a little bit amount of time, you start there. And I think like organizing in my head what the priorities are, what those hot spots are coming up, especially in December, helps me to feel less overwhelmed because yeah, I had a lot of anxiety last night and this morning, and I was like, I just need to get this down on paper, and so I can just kind of see.
I
And then
love
when you
that.
see it, it's not as bad. It's at least it's more manageable, and then you can kind of come up with a plan for that.
Yeah.
But each of
So
those
you're,
like gigs is divided up as well into well, like I have a symphony gig coming up. The music came in
mm,
yesterday. It's
mm.
60 pages long.
Girl,
60.
that's like nothing. I'm sure the hard part is 200.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Seriously, I'm sure
I
it
know
is.
it's true. Well, we only have like 4 lines on a page, but that's a lot, and I got to get that organized. So, within each gig, I have to-do lists for each thing. Like you and I have some
Hmm.
Christmas sets that we're trying to put together, and each gig is a little bit different, so we have to get those organized. But I think just having you know, that blocked out, at least from a performance side, that helps. What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
think that's super, super wise.
You do something similar though, too, right?
I do.
You have a
Yeah.
whiteboard.
I do. I do have a whiteboard. Actually, I need to put it up again. I moved stuff around in this room and I didn't put the whiteboard up. It's over there, but I just haven't put it up again. Anyway, but yeah, I had a whiteboard with kind of the priorities. So just I make sure that I hit the priorities. That's more specific to my practice time. And I think this has been kind of a shift that I've tried to make in my practice is, you know, at this point in my life, I don't want to practice every day. And I don't. And so when I am intentional about practicing, and when I do practice, like you said, I don't do everything, right?
Right. We're not going
I
to
just
practice Jingle Bells before
no,
our Christmas
no,
gig. No.
right, right. Our background, we're gonna sit and read that, right? And so I think it's like been a journey to sort of learn to just trust myself a little more and know like
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to pull it out. Like it's okay. You don't have to go over every note. Go over, like you said, the hot spots, the things that are kind of stressful to you, and do it in a methodical, calm way and like make sure that you got it and then move on. I adopted a technique where I say I'm gonna spend 10 minutes on this section or piece or whatever, and then I need to
Mhm.
move on.
Mhm.
So it's like it's a timer thing so that I can't sit there and obsess about it and then an hour has gone by and I still haven't gone on to the next thing.
Right. Well,
And
that's
it's so
super mature though. Like that's a maturity thing, I think
it's
that
been yeah, it's
yeah.
been a process and also just kind of letting go of some of that perfectionism, right?
Mm.
It's tough, right? But I think it's like it's important to sit down at your instrument and make sure that you are, strong in for me for your fingers, obviously you for your embouchure, like the the
Yes.
muscles need to be there and you need to be able to hit like for me the jumps, right? When I'm jumping
Right.
around or the shapes or whatever. But I'm not sitting there going over every note. I'm just not. I just am trusting myself more. And I think again that is a maturity thing.
Mhm.
And it's like this fine line between being flippant about it and being like, whatever, I'm good. I know it, you know,
I have
and
a couple
being like confident, right?
yes, and I think you come up with a good point, and I wanted to add this too because it is a mind shift, especially as we got more mature in our performance career, but there's the practice to get the details, to get the notes and rhythms and articulations, right? And fingers, and that's the hot spot stuff. But when it gets closer to performance time, and I tell my students this too before like recitals, and this is actually a big thing for me. You mentioned embouchure. A lot of the gigs that you and I are doing, and Sarah and I have several like just chill, cool gigs in December where we're playing background music for like 2 hours. I don't know the last time anybody else has played 2 hours on an oboe without stopping,
We
playing
take a
Christmas
break.
music. We
We
do.
take a break.
We take like a 10-minute break, but it's
Yeah.
continuous playing
Yeah.
from my face.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the practice I'm doing right now, for the Christmas stuff, I'm not necessarily practicing our Christmas like background set stuff, but I am playing a lot, mostly on my audition stuff or my symphony stuff that's coming up, just with the intention of keeping my endurance up on my face. Now, I can just be like, I can go sight read like Christmas music with Sarah all day long. I don't have to practice it. But 30 minutes in, my face is going to be like unraveling. So just because the music is easy doesn't mean I don't need to spend a different component of my practice, like thinking I have to be able to get through this. Otherwise, we're not going to get paid. So I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
keep my fitness up. It's like recital preparation too. Like the music gets
Mhm.
fine to a certain point, but you have to be able to get through it well without like our embouchure unraveling. And yours is similar too. I know with your shoulders,
I was
like
just
is
gonna
a
say,
shoulder thing for you.
for
And
me,
so
it's
I'm assuming,
honestly, it's not shoulder. I mean, I think it is for a lot of harpists. I think I am actually, knock on wood, blessed with pretty strong shoulders. I think it's my back, right? I've had to
okay,
work on my back strength
but there's a
to be
there's a
able, but there's a
physical
strength component and
component.
an endurance component to it. Absolutely.
Right. And if you're not
Yeah.
practicing, just that physical endurance, side,
Right.
then it's going to unravel.
But
And like,
for me, there a lot of it, yes, is sitting at your instrument and putting in the reps, but then it's also oh, somehow a thumbs up came up. Whatever. It's also doing it away from your instrument. Specifically for me, it's going and doing deadlifts or,
that's
doing
great.
some rowing or whatever to
Right.
build up my back so that when I come to the harp, I'm not giving 100% of my back
Right.
strength. I'm giving 50% of it,
Right.
right? For an
Mm-hmm.
hour, for 2 hours, whatever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I don't want to sit at my harp for 2 hours and practice because I I'm gonna go do a workout at the gym and build up the strength to then go. Like I can't do
Mm-hmm.
all that every day. I
Right.
can't, and I don't
Right.
want to at this point. I don't want to. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that's my truth, right? So I want
That's
to sit
that's
there. I want
fair.
to play when I want to play. Anyway, so I think that kind of moves me into another thing ahead of my list, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Shift it.
So moving your body this time of year. Uber, uber important. So it doesn't have to be, you have to go to the gym and lift your weights and all that crap. No,
I suck at
it's
this.
just moving. It's just getting
Right.
out and moving and not sitting at your desk all day, not hunkering down. It's really hard this time of year, especially if you're up north, right? Or you're in a cold climate to like get out and see the sun and like
Mm-hmm.
move your body. Well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you need to like take yourself, I don't know, do people still walk the mall? Is it like an old lady thing? Like whatever. Like
I,
go somewhere and
I
walk.
I'm low key like a bit of an introvert, and so malls just give me anxiety in general. So,
Right.
but
So
I
you don't want to go
hear
to the
what you're
mall.
saying. I know what you're saying. No, I would definitely just go out for a walk. But to be fair, my truth, I suck at this in the wintertime. And I spent the past 15 years plus being real hard on my body with military things, triathlon things. And the past couple years, I have chilled a little bit. And I think that's what my body needs.
Right.
But I also know that it would be better if I moved more. Like my workout routine has been non existent. Like, other than walking around and doing those things, like I haven't lifted a weight in a couple months. But I know that it would be a healthy thing. I think this is something that I wish I had implemented younger, is that I wish I would make that more of a priority, and knowing that that directly contributes to me being more awesome at my performing, and even from a mental health standpoint.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably more for me, like it's the mental health component than necessarily like the physical, like strength and feeling awesome. It really clears my head, and that's, yeah, I knew that this was going to come up, and so you have the green light to be a like annoying friend about it for me. Did you get
Okay,
outside today?
I already know what I'm getting you for Christmas. You gave me the idea right now.
Sarah gives the best Christmas gifts, by the way. So get on
Oh,
her good
thanks.
side, and she's very thoughtful about her Christmas gifts.
Thanks. I
Yes,
know it.
that's
I
a
know
love
it. It's a
language for
good
you.
thing. You're gonna
Gift
love it.
giving.
It's gonna be perfect. Well, thank you.
You are, yeah.
You give really good gifts too. She always, when you have a good friend and you can know what they're really into, it helps, right?
I think so. Yeah. I
Definitely.
like thoughtful
Very
gifts, not just
meaningful.
like gift
Right.
cards.
No, no, meaningful stuff. Yeah. So no, you're right. You're absolutely right that it not only gives you the endorphins, right? I mean, I'm not going to go on with all like the data and all this stuff, but yeah, like getting just moving your body and even just starting with like stretching, just literally moving. If you want to do some yoga, if you want to do obviously outdoors Pilates, right? But if you want to do just even stretching, just going and walking for 10 minutes, like you don't need to like start out with any big deal. Just
All right.
say,
So, just for listeners who happen to be in the same boat as I am, all right, I'm going to give you my schedule a little bit. And I want you to tell me what I can do to move, not for, I don't need to be in the Olympics, but for somebody who's, let's see, I start teaching some days at like 8 a.m. And then I'm probably going just 6 or 7 students until 4:30, and I get home about 5. I have 2 teenagers, and I've got to get food ready for them because if there's no food between 5 and 5:30, everybody loses their minds. So it's really important that we have real food in that time, and then I have to work on reads. So, and I've been pretty consistent. Like every night, I'm at the read desk during the week, and then on the weekends, it's not a begrudging tool like task for me anymore. So how can I add more movement in my day where I'm driving to a school, start teaching at 8, do a couple students, drive to another school? I mean, I've been doing some, like I park a little bit further away, so I have to walk, a little bit
right,
further, or like if I've got a break in between students, I'm the weird person that is walking a couple laps inside the school, but I've got my badge and nobody like gives me crap about it. But if I do have time in between students too, I intentionally block that as my practice time. Other than doing student stuff, that's my time to work on my gig music that's coming up so I don't have to do it when I come home at night. So I think that's reflective of a lot of people's schedules, right? Teaching,
100%.
performing. Where do we fit it in besides just Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah. Great, great
Help.
question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't mean to put her on the spot, but I
No,
totally
it's
put her on the
cool.
spot. But
That's
like,
cool.
give me some like ideas that I'm not thinking about, and
So
I would love.
I love that you're being realistic with your time and
Yeah.
what it looks like. So I think the first thing that you said you're already doing, like you're building in those breaks for yourself in the teaching, right? So you said you'd go around and walk those laps. So how long do you have for your practice time? Like give me one of your breaks.
So I mean, I do have a lunch break built in, but that's for food.
Sure, sure.
Sometimes in between students, there's 45 minutes, and I have a couple blocks that are about 90 minutes, like
Right.
maybe twice a week, 90 minutes. But I do try to use that to catch up on administrative things and personal practice things. So it's not a consistent like this is my time to walk and then I come back. But as I'm speaking
Mhm.
this, that would probably be a good idea. If I made it intentional, then it would happen.
Yeah. I think you
Okay,
could do something like, but what sounds best to you? Would it be to do a walk or would it be to do some stretching? Which one?
stretching,
Okay.
100%.
So put that in that is what you're going to do either before or after your practice, literally block 10 minutes for stretching.
That's
Or how
easy.
about start with 5 minutes? You need
We
to
can do
start with
10
something.
minutes. Like, yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
that's
you need to,
reasonable. Like,
but
that's fine.
the thing is you need to start with something that is so easy that you're like,
Mhm.
"Ugh, that's like laughable. Like if I don't do that, that's like silly.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, you need to build it in with something that you're already doing, something that's a habit,
Yeah. What's that called? Is that's not anchoring. That's
stacking, habit stacking.
habit stacking. There was another word for it too. Yeah, I think it was anchoring. But the stacking like in order for me to remember to take my medicine, I
Right.
do it at the same time when I brush my teeth. So every time I'm
But
brushing my teeth, I'm
yeah.
taking my meds.
Or sometimes I tell people like I'm trying to get them to do like a little bit of movement, like first thing
Mhm.
in the morning, I'm like, okay, what's something you do every day? And they say, oh, my coffee or whatever. I'm like, okay, you can't have your coffee until you do X. And it's something so teeny tiny
Mhm.
that they're gonna do it and they're just gonna get it done, and then that builds the habit and makes you feel successful. So I would say do your 5 minutes of stretching before you practice because you're already very intentional about your practicing and you want to practice. You want to get to your practicing.
Sometimes.
So, right, right. But I bet you that if you do a little bit of stretching or movement first, then your practicing is probably going to be even better.
Yeah. You're
You're going to be
right.
more alert. You're going to be in a better mood. Like your blood's going to be circulating. You're going to be ready to go. I bet your playing will be even better.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay, good.
What do you do?
Move your body. What do you mean?
I mean,
Move my body?
what's your routine? Yeah. Especially in December. I mean, things get busy for you too. I mean, I know
They
that you're
sure do.
teaching and like,
Yep.
so how's Sarah taking care of herself?
Good question. One thing, I'm pretty regular about walking every day. So I think it's important for me to get out in the morning. And luckily, I have a dog that
Do
pushes me out the
you
door.
do you walk for time or do you walk for distance? See, the
When
the
you have,
triathlon is coming out right
right,
now.
of course, when
Right.
you have a dog, you walk as far as the dog wants to go.
Okay.
Or,
So Emma's making the calls.
yeah. And if Emma wants to go like point two, I'm like, okay, bye. And I drop her off at home and then I do a little more, right? Because like that's ridiculous, right? Yeah.
Sarah's dog, she's not that old, but she is,
Well, she's getting old.
well, she's
She's,
older. She's
but there's
very
no
sweet.
rhyme or reason to it. Some days it's not the temperature, it's not the humidity, it's not the sunlight. It's like we've thought of all the things. We can't figure out what it is. It's just random. Some days she wants to go for a mile and a half. Some days she wants to go for point two.
Okay.
You don't know.
All right.
The time
Okay.
of day doesn't matter. Doesn't
The
matter.
weather doesn't matter or
No, the weather. No, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. At first we thought we liked
so
cool. She liked
particular.
cooler weather. We know she does like cooler weather. She will walk further when it's cooler, usually, which
She's
makes
a
sense.
lab, right? She's a yellow lab?
No, she's a mix between a golden retriever and a beagle. So
Right.
it's like she
Okay.
looks like a
That's
golden
the
retriever,
nose. Right.
except
She's a
she
low
has black and she has short legs.
she's shorter. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's adorable, you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's very cute, very cute.
But that's good
So,
that you have to go outside because she
yeah,
has to go outside. So that's
right.
can't walk my cats. I would love to
No,
because it's Austin.
right. But if you could just like, and I'm not saying it's got to be like a super long walk either. Like if you can just say, okay, I'm committing to walking outside first thing. Like start with that.
Hmm.
First thing in the morning, I'm walking outside, I'm seeing the sun. Okay, I'm here for 3 breaths. Okay, now I'm going to walk inside. Then start saying, okay, I'm going to walk to the end of the block. Okay, now I'm going to make myself go all the way around the block, right? Baby steps so you're feeling successful, right? Just like when you teach students and everybody out there, you don't tell them, learn this whole piece. You give it to them in like little baby increments, right?
Hmm.
So that they feel good about themselves and you're making the progress and you're seeing the result. So yeah, I think walking is, and also since sets more of a momentum for my day, I find. I do also try and walk after dinner.
Yeah, yeah, that
That's
was
really
a good
good for your
habit
digestion.
until things started getting busy. That was,
Tricky.
a regular
Hmm.
thing with my husband, and it was honestly like one of the only times we get to like reconnect, or just check in during the day. So that was good. But again, this is an excuse. As your life gets busier, those are the first things that go. And I think as a mind shift for myself is that that should be a priority. That's my history. That's always been the first thing to go when my life gets busier is physical self-care. So,
But again, I want to stress that it doesn't need to be anything major and doesn't need to take a ton of your time. Like
right.
literally just doing like, your 5 minutes of stretching.
Yeah.
And then just like when sometimes we're resistant to sit down and practice. And then we sit down and we're like, oh yeah, this is
Locked
feeling
in.
good. I'm going to keep
I do
going.
as you're talking about this, I'm thinking it's always been an all or nothing thing for me. And I think that is my personality in general. And so when
It's
I
a
was
lot
in
of
the
people.
military or, um, all my triathlon stuff, it was like, a walk doesn't count. It's got to be like sweating hard stuff. And as I'm older, I don't want to do those hard things on my body. I want like a nice soft life at this point.
Mhm.
But I recognize that I need to get back on the train, and that if even if I'm not going out and running, a half marathon, which was my life for
Yeah.
years. Like
Yeah.
Saturday was long run day. And if it was anything less than 10, it wasn't
Mm.
going towards something. And that's another thing too. I was always training for something. So for an army PT test, for a race, for a triathlon.
Goal.
And it was a goal. And so I think, yeah, this is kind of some light bulby things happening. I think
Good.
as I'm older and I don't have those, it's not goals, but those things on my calendar that I have to do, the have to do thing in the military, you have to
Mhm.
be this fast. You have to lift this much. Because I don't have that accountability, I guess.
Yeah.
In my head, it's like, well, if I don't have something to do, I can't just do it for myself. And that's probably something I should work out with a therapist, I think. So doing the physical things because I know it's going to benefit me when I'm 70 isn't where my head is. It's like I need to do the things because in 2 months I have this race I have to perform at versus
Mhm.
I want to be able to be strong and walk up the stairs without a problem when I'm older. So it's it's a mind shift thing for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And cele
that just
and
like went way off the
That's
rails.
okay. That's okay. You're celebrating like the smaller things, right?
Yeah, and that's hard, I think.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's a personal thing. It's always hard to celebrate just the small wins. It's always got to be big wins or nothing. And that's
I think that's pretty normal though for a lot of musicians. And
mm,
if I'm gonna be like a little deep about it,
yeah,
I think that because we're driven for achievement all the time,
that's what it is. Yeah.
right? And it's also I think a lot of people tend to be brought up in the culture where your wins aren't celebrated, right? And you don't take the time to celebrate, oh, I did this thing really well. No, you have to move on to the next thing because
On
the
to the
next
next thing.
deadline's coming,
Yeah, that's
right?
so true. Like when I finished any race, even did this Ironman race, I didn't feel like proud. I mean, I was proud, but I it wasn't a pride thing. It was more like a, oh, thank God it's done. I need to work on this marathon time goal for next month. And so I didn't give myself the space to, it's a really big deal. Like it's a long day. It's like a 14-hour thing that
It's
we had
huge.
trained for like years for. And I didn't give myself permission to enjoy that. My family did, my husband did. Um, because it's his celebration too. But for me, it was more just relief that it was done. And I think even sometimes from big performance standpoints, it's just a
100%.
thank God that audition is done. Even, I don't want to feel that way. Well, I want to win this one, but thank God that that
You will.
solo is over. My gosh, have been working on that concerto for so long, that competition. It's over versus
But
like I killed that. Oh my God. Like I'm so
right.
proud
And
of
this
me.
kind of dovetails back to what I was saying about trusting yourself, and it doesn't have to be perfect and letting go of some of that control. This topic has like totally morphed, but
But
that's
I
okay.
know,
This
but
is
no, we said
organic.
this was going to be like a
Yeah,
conversation. It's not
just
just going to be,
organic.
this isn't a
No,
lecture. This is just
no, it's just
two
great.
people talking. Yeah.
I love that it's like, but you really recognize this about myself too. And I think this is part of what makes or made last December better and what I'm still trying to work through this year because I've got some gigs this year too. Instead of thinking I have to nail every single thing and it's got to be just so, it's like if I think that way, if I let that take hold of me, then there's a cloud hanging over me and there's an undercurrent of anxiety that will live with me until
Always.
that gig is over.
Right.
And then I'll breathe the sigh of relief. And how often, like you said, we don't celebrate what our big success, and then we just move on to the next thing, and or our body is finally like, finally, I get to relax, and then we get sick.
Then you get sick. Exactly. That's exactly
because your
what
body has
happens.
been holding it together. And finally it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now I get to breathe
Now I
and
have
now
2
I
weeks
get to
off, but I'm sick.
unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I get to unravel.
Yeah.
How often does that
That's
happen too with students when they're like, the finals are over and then everybody gets sick on their break?
all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
then
happened.
and then I'm sorry, I'm gonna
No,
put down the sugar again.
do it.
And then this
Put
time
down
of
the sugar
year,
again.
I did this pumpkin spice latte from October and through January. We're eating sugar constantly, or it definitely pushed more on us because
It's
of the holidays.
more right.
Our immunity is down, the sugar is up, the cold weather is here,
We're
and then
exercising less, moving
we're
our body
exercising
less,
less.
right?
There's more chance for anxiety, depression, all of the things to set in. And then things just spiral in our bodies like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it.
hmm
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay. Another thing we could do for ourselves that I wrote down, sorry, unless you have anything else to add on that
No,
topic.
this is just so good. I wish that we
I
had had this
know.
conversation like 15 years ago. I'd be a much
Well,
happier person in general, I think.
the thing that really dawned on me, and I think that really encompasses the work I'm trying to do with Studio Da Capo, is trying to help people recognize and give them tools to undo their state of chronic stress that they're living in as musicians, right?
hmm
We are just conditioned and we don't even realize that we're living in this day to day stress level that's just so high. And it's not our fault, but there are things we can do, things we have control over to lessen the stress and to like
hmm
make it easier on ourselves and make a chance for your joy to come in and yourself to like actually enjoy life and the holidays at this point.
Yeah. Um, a couple years ago, uh, I realized that I hadn't spent Christmas Eve with my family, like probably over 6 years. And I think last year you and I were both like, "Hey, I don't I don't want to work on Christmas Eve this year." And as soon as I said it out loud, I knew that that was like I don't have many more like kid Christmas Eves left. Because like Christmas Eves from a musician standpoint, like it's not magical for us. It's work. And I miss being a kid and having that like family time of this is Christmas Eve. And so I think the fact that we were very intentional with not accepting Christmas Eve gigs, at least I was. I don't know if anything's come on your plate, but I'm really happy about that. That's something I can really look forward to that I haven't had in years and years.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying is you've kind of blocked that on your calendar. Like you've actually been intentional.
It was a conscious decision. It was a conscious thought. And also, I mean, this is, if we can pivot a little bit, another thing that's I think been helpful for this year is I've said no
Mm,
to so many
mm,
things. To some high paying things too, but like I think I turned down 3 nutcrackers, like
mm,
runs. I
mhm,
turned down and 2 church things and some judging things because here in Texas, this is our big for wins. This is a big region audition time to make
mhm,
all state and things. And so, um, yeah, and I don't even feel bad about it. I mean, I was
mhm.
really careful with how I worded my no thank yous. Like, this is a really big time. I've had to block off. Please consider me for next time. There's ways to
Of
talk to
course.
contractors, but I think that that's the first time I wasn't like, ooh, if I say no, am I going to get called again? Or like, ooh, that's a lot of money, but it's like 4 hours away. And is it going to be
Yeah.
worth, 3.5 days away from my family, for this much money? And it's not like a little bit, and my priorities are changing, I guess is what it's coming down
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And that can change throughout life, right?
Mm, yeah, where people are in their stages of life for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, you said
Of
no to a
course.
bunch of stuff
Yep.
too.
Yeah. And I think it's partly about being conscientious of not being of working every day and being realistic about how much energy is that going to take out of me? How much, because I want to show up for the things that I do say yes
You want
to
to show up
and
well.
show
Yeah.
up. Yeah. I want to show up with joy and energy. And like, I
Christmas
really want
spirit.
to, right. I want to
Right.
give, I want to give what I have to this. That's, my gigging, my teaching, all of life. Right. And so being more realistic about what is this going to take out of me? I mean, there were so many years I remember, you know, coming in at 11:30 and then being out the door for the next thing you have to drive to at 7 in the morning the next morning.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And you can't do that in perpetuity. You just can't.
No, it's not
And
sustainable.
give your all and not end up sick on December 26th or feeling like waking
Yeah.
up like you got hit by a bus or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
For
just,
sure.
it's not a way to live. So, yes, I think one of the things kind of it goes along with this topic, but it also shifts back to your list making. I try and be intentional like the day before if I'm trying to get through a lot of stuff and I feel overwhelmed. I'll make a list of what I need to get done the next day. And then it's really taken a lot of effort, but I cross one of those things off. You have to take something off the list. And that's more about like being realistic about your time and your energy and all the things
Right.
and realizing like, okay, I don't have to get that done tomorrow. I can put it on Friday or whatever and still doing it and getting it done, but whatever, like making it so that you don't just hate your day, basically. Right. Because then you have time. This also dovetails with another thing I wrote down, putting something in there for you. And again, this doesn't have to be like 3-hour block. It can
Hmm.
be literally, I am going to read my book before I go to bed for 15 minutes, or I am literally going to go on that walk because that's what I want to do for 10 minutes. Right. So, like a teeny tiny thing that you're intentionally doing for yourself. I think it's really hard a lot of times to do this depending on your schedule. But honestly, I think if you just wake up 15 minutes earlier and do it like literally the first thing you do, so
Hmm.
you're putting yourself before anyone else, like
Yeah.
that's really going to affect your day and know that you've taken care of your needs first, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So that you're not resenting everything you're doing.
No,
But you can't always do that.
right. Especially if you're getting home at midnight from gigs.
Yeah. And
Right.
okay, so this dovetails in another thing I wrote down. Sleep. Got to prioritize that sleep,
Yeah.
right?
That's not a problem for me. At least now. It's not. When my kids were younger, it was.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
As you were talking, something came to my mind, something I'm doing differently this year.
Hmm.
And I hope that everybody's not clutching their pearls when I say this. For Thanksgiving, I am streamlining the cooking, as in, I bought a couple pre-made things. I said
Hmm.
what I said. And you know
Hmm.
what? I don't even feel bad about it. And so we did like a little family Thanksgiving last weekend before, all of our different families went different places. And I bought a pie, you know.
Dang, girl.
And you know what? Nobody freaking cared, and they ate it, and it was fine, and we were able to be together. And so I think this semester specifically, it's been helpful for me to, I mean, I'm not saying like get crap food, but outsourcing some of those tasks has
Yes.
been. And
Yep.
again, my house is not a museum. It's not like super, you know everything is in different places, but it's not dirty.
No, it's clean.
Letting, like, if there's stuff on the counter,
Hmm.
I am giving myself permission just to not look at it
Hmm.
and to be
Hmm.
okay. I mean, it gets to a certain point where I've got to,
Sure.
but
Bothers you. Yep.
but I have cleaners coming in once a week
Yeah.
during the holidays, and
Wonderful. Yeah.
I don't apologize for it. I am getting some pre-made things for Thanksgiving tomorrow,
Save
and
your
then I'm
sanity.
supplementing with some things, right? Because how many years, as I'm not going to turn this into a bigger political or, feminist discussion, but as females, we're in the kitchen all day. Traditionally, don't come at me. And for years, I would Thanksgiving wasn't a nice thing for me. It was a
Mm-hmm.
day of work. And then, you get sad at the end of the day. And yes, there's food and there's family, but there's some resentment sometimes when, certain
Mm-hmm.
people are expected to be preparing all of that stuff. And then I don't get time with. I only have a couple more years left before my kids are out of the house. So giving myself permission, outsource some of those tasks, as hard as
Mm-hmm.
it has been for me, I acknowledge has been very
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish somebody had told me that 15
Yeah.
years ago. Like, it's okay. It's okay to get something pre-made or to outsource some cleaning or to ask for help.
Yes.
Or yeah, I think that was a big hack. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad I remembered that.
I think, yeah, I'm glad you said that because I actually wrote that down too.
Great
I
minds.
said for help slash support, delegate. And this came up for me this week because this is like, I think we've said this is Thanksgiving week. Like tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the US. And, it can really raise that anxiety up, just the things you have to do. Like this Monday, I was like, oh, I have so much to do. I have so much to do.
Yeah,
And
she
so
was.
I
She
was,
called me.
but I was
She's
like,
like, "Ugh."
yeah, yeah. But well, also I didn't set
That's
myself
okay.
up well because the weekend I worked all weekend and like,
Right.
that's not good. Need to have that rest in, all the things. But I was like, okay, what can I do to offload like my list? And so one of the things is you can take something off the list that doesn't need to get done, right?
I love
Which
that.
I did. But also you can say, okay, I have to get this done, but I don't have to do this.
Yeah, that's
Who
hard.
else can do I know. It's
That's
really
hard for
tough, right?
you. I know that
But
that's
way
really
hard
hard,
for me.
way hard,
Way hard.
so hard.
But trying to release some of that control and also like let someone else do it. Like know
This is
that
so
like no,
good.
okay, they're not going to do it your way probably, but it will get done, right?
Yeah, that's hard for my firstborn heart. But it's
Yeah, it's hard.
absolutely right.
It's
It's
real
totally
hard.
true. Totally true.
It's real hard. Now, I looked at my list because thankfully I have an awesome husband.
I was just gonna say that. Like, I've got a
Yeah,
really good partner who's like,
so that I can
I've
I
got the
can
laundry
ask him
this
to do
week.
some
Yeah.
right. I can ask him to do something like that. Or, I mean, I looked at that list and he even said, what can I do to help you? Because he knew that I was freaking out. And I was like, you know, there is nothing on this list that I think that you can actually help me with. Like realistically, like before I've been like, okay, I can have him go to the grocery store or I can have him, run this errand or whatever for me or make this call or whatever, right? Like little things that I can just take this off me. But this week I was like, there's nothing because a lot of this is like work related stuff but you know what? I thought of something. Okay, this is random. I have to like cut and paste this part. All right. I have to cut and paste this part. I'm playing this choir piece. I can't find a harp part. I've looked, doesn't exist, but I need to play this organ part. And I'm not going to turn 10 pages. I'm just not doing it. And I don't want to look at it the way it's written out. I don't want to put it into finale because it takes too much time and effort for me. I don't know anyone who knows finale really well. So you know
You know
what
what
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
say
do?
about all of this, right?
Cut and paste. I'm going to cut and paste. No, I'm not going to ask Chat GPT to do it.
No, I wasn't say that. I was gonna say, like, are you getting paid to cut and paste your stuff? Your job is to play the harp. But that's another conversation.
It's
I
another
understand.
conversation, another
Right.
conversation. However, but you know what I thought? I'm literally going to have to cut and paste this old school, like it's 1993. Okay.
With a glue
And I
stick.
have accepted this. But one thing that's stressing me out about it is okay, I hate to admit this. I cannot cut straight.
Oh, you're
I
fired.
take a pair of scissors and I cannot cut a straight line. Nope.
Unfriended.
Wrapping paper, don't ask me to wrap because it will turn out ugly. Okay.
You can
So
string a
I
harp.
actually failed. Yes, I have other skills. So I failed cutting in preschool. I got a
Wait,
U. Unsatisfactory cutting skills. Cutting, my cutting
that's
skills,
about Sarah.
I know. Cutting skills have not improved. Okay. I have
I know what
tried.
I'm
I
getting you
keep
for
trying.
Christmas.
Okay. Okay. But part of my reason, I'm left-handed. I'm using that as my reason. I'm left-handed. Yes, I know there's left-handed scissors. I've tried them. I can actually cut something, but I cannot cut a straight line still. Anyway, the point with this is I am offloading this to the husband and I'm going to say, husband, cut these lines apart for me so that they doesn't look
They're
ridiculous.
going to be
And
so
then
straight.
I know he will do
I
such a
know.
good job because he's so
His
precise about
details.
things.
Yes.
He's an
Yes.
engineer. So he's going to make them straight and then I will assemble them because it's all Greek to him. He doesn't know what the heck it means, which is fine. But you know what? It's going to help me. So that's my example. It took me a very long time to say it, but there's my example of something I'm offloading. There
I
you go.
have an example of the offloading as well. And
Okay, let's
additionally,
hear about it.
last month, we had my mother come in to
Mm-hmm.
help with some family things. We've got some medical things coming up and November was busy as well, but going into December, we have kind of like a little family meeting. So as I was working all November, Wednesday was my mom's day to cook dinner. And Thursday was my husband's day. Now, this was really cool. Instead of him like cooking, we were just getting like a whole bunch of like meats and cheeses and like fruits and nuts and stuff. So Thursday night, we were just doing a charcuterie night.
Love it.
And it was awesome. And like, because Thursday is like a late night for me, I wasn't getting home until 5. And so my husband was able to just, because he works from home, he's able to just pull out, all the stuff and set it on the board and like it's done. But offloading, bringing, and I've done this for a long time, is during the holiday season my mom has come in regularly to help pick up the slack with kid stuff and home stuff, and I'm very, very grateful. I know that a lot of people don't have that option, and I'm going to completely take advantage of it as long as
Mm-hmm.
as long as I'm
Mm-hmm.
allowed to. But I'm so grateful that that's a helpful thing, just like another set of eyes, another pair of hands to help, wash the concert clothes or to get supper going, even just ordering a DoorDash or just an executive functioning adult with another brain, just to run stuff by. And that's been a very helpful thing, is offloading. Because I do like to cook. I'm not being resentful about the cooking. It brings me a lot of joy. But again, it's something that I can cross off my list that somebody else can do. They're going to do it differently, but there's going to be food. And that brain space I was using for that, I can put towards something else, maybe, or not. Just give myself a break. Yeah. So that's a small thing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Love it. So I think all of these tips are things that obviously can serve you well all year long and can bring you more, you know,
Yeah.
more peace in your everyday life, but particularly
Summer.
important to remember in December. But if we are practicing them throughout the year,
I know.
December maybe won't be so chaotic, or maybe we will
Right.
recognize some of the trends a little sooner and undo some of the stress points or try.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think one more thing I want to stress is just, and you've kind of just said this with like, okay, having someone else do something and maybe they don't do it your way. Just say, this is done and it's good enough.
Sarah.
I know it's hard. It's
No.
hard.
That's that's
Yeah.
therapy talk right there.
Yeah.
That's a
As
whole different. Yeah,
musicians, that's super hard, right?
I don't I don't want to
But that's
cry, but
but
that
that's part
is
of the practice. Like it's part
very
of
hard.
releasing the
Yeah.
practice, releasing the control, releasing the need for it to be just so. And it's good enough. And I think this goes deeper into you are enough, right? This message of it's
Yeah.
okay how it is. You
And
are
I
okay how you are.
and we tell this to our students all the time.
Right.
Like, this is the language that I use with my students. This audition doesn't define you. Did you play your best?
Hmm.
Okay, that's all you need to know. Like,
Yeah.
if you played your best and you weren't selected for all state, like that's not, it doesn't define your worth as a person or as a musician. And some days are going to look different than others in your best. Why can't we accept that for ourselves as adults? Like, it's easier for me to tell my kids or to tell my daughter,
Well,
like,
because
hey, like, you are putting in all the things you can control. Like, if
you've had years of reinforcing the other way,
yeah, that
right?
sucks, man.
Yeah.
We're,
So
we're
it
doing
takes
it differently.
time.
This is going to be a different generation. I'm really
It
excited
takes
this
time to
generation.
undo it and to rewire and all the things. And all you can do is just keep doing it little bits at a time, right?
Yeah. Mhm. This was
So
supposed
hard.
to be like a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah,
I knew this
well,
was going to
you know how this
happen. We're
goes.
like, hey, this is
Yeah.
going to be like a mini episode for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Of
Hmm.
course it wasn't. So
Hmm.
thank you
All
for your
right.
patience.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it.
This is a
You
good
are
spot.
enough no matter where you are, what you're doing, you are enough this holiday season. Please don't overthink it. Just try to enjoy where you are right now.
I'll try.
Okay. We'll see
Bye.
you next time. Hope everyone has a great holiday.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.